Good morning. I'm Mo Ivory in for Roland Martin, and today on News One Now, FBI Director James Comey speaks out about policing and race. Is partisan politics to blame for the delayed vote over Loretta Lynch's nomination for Attorney General? We'll uncover the ancient African symbols on America's monuments and money. Are black designers getting a fair shake at this week, New York's Fashion Week? We're bringing you some of the best moments from the NWA Image Awards all week long. All that and more coming up right now on News One Now. After months of protests and the start of Black Lives Matter movement, FBI Director James Comey speaks candidly about race in America.
I believe law enforcement overwhelmingly attracts people who want to do good for a living, people who risk their lives because they want to help other people. They don't sign up to be cops in New York or Chicago or LA to help white people or black people or Hispanic people or Asian people. They sign up because they want to help all people.
Comey delivered that speech yesterday at Georgetown University. He even said that everyone has a racial bias, but it's important, especially for police, not to bring it to the workplace. But is his a call for a conversation about race really doing anything to help the problem? Let's talk about that today with our panel. It's Kim Keenan, who is president and CEO of Minority Media and Telecommunications Council, Rock Newman, who is the host of The Rock Newman Show on WHUT, and Drew Elon's political and lifestyle blogger. So I really thought that James Comey giving that speech on, first, a lot of people thought, well, why would he give a speech on race and politics? But he does play a role. He does answer to Eric Holder. So I thought it was important. And I thought he said a lot of things that a lot of us have been thinking. You know, that sometimes police go into neighborhoods feeling a certain way and have their own biases that you just bring to a job as a human being and based on the environment that you grew up. What did you think about his speech?
Well, the first thing I saw was when he said it didn't matter the race. That sometimes when police officers, or a lot of times when police officers are in black communities and they've been serving there, they just come up with this bias. And it doesn't matter the race. And quite frankly, it's kind of like, okay, so you've said it. So then now what? What do we do about it? We've always known that there's been racial profiling. So the FBI director said it. So now what?
Yeah, I wondered if that particular statement that even black officers come with racial bias sort of it pinched a little bit, but I know it to be true. But I wonder how sort of the majority, how white America viewed that to say like, oh, well, black officers do the same thing. I mean, it's a reality, but it's not as much of a problem as we've seen with white officers. Rock, what did you think of that?
One thing is, tell me about the last time a black police officer shot a defenseless white person, an unarmed white person.
And was not indicted.
That's exactly right.
And no legal
and you know, I'll tell you something. It is good that he had and started or restarted this conversation. He did say something very important. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not so much what I say here today, it's what we do next. And that is the challenge for all of us, what we do next. How do we change the dynamic where racism continues to play such an impactful role in American society? That's a big one.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. I mean, he mentioned the mental shortcut, right? You see three black guys standing on the corner, and typically they're the ones in your mind that would normally be committing the crime, but the two white guys on the other corner, they probably don't usually wind up as a part of that. That mental shortcut is what needs to be the next step, that we not make this mental shortcut, that they actually do police work, because that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to see the biases that other people see.
Sure, but that mental shortcut that he is talking about is a shortcut that is grown over a lifespan, right? Before a person decides, oh, I want to be a police officer, they've grown up in a neighborhood. They've seen black kids or black men or black whatever as a negative, as the negativity in their neighborhood,
That's exactly
right? So then how how do you then just take that mental shortcut? Now you get all the power in the world to take somebody's life, and how do you begin to change that?
Right. But that's about training. No, that's about training and going into these neighborhoods and creating a connection between the community, because how somebody's dressed or how they look. My teenager's sitting back in the back. He loves hoodies. But, you know, now it's like I feel like he has a target on his back when he has one of those on. So we have to stop that so that you know the difference between a kid who just likes having a hoodie on in any color, because white kids wear hoodies too. Absolutely. And kids who are committing crimes.
True, you were gonna
But for me, I don't find it much comfort also being a mother of a son that that there's always this bias, and it doesn't matter between it being a black cop or a white cop. It does not give any white police officer any slide, but it is very true that automatically right now there is it's a bias.
Oh, absolutely.
That they see right now no matter what, and I've seen that even with the cases of Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin, where some of my friends that are black police officers that would ask me, well, what would you do if you see two black guys hanging out? I was like, it won't bother me. You know,
sure, because
I don't make a bias.
Right. I wanted to ask you, does it make a difference for James Comey, a white FBI director who obviously is not going to get the same backlash as a Eric Holder or a Mayor de Blasio saying these kind of things? Does it really matter that he said anything?
Look at the inherent racism in that statement.
Yes.
That he, as a white man, can point out a malfunction of our society that in a way that not necessarily can an Eric Holder or a Barack Obama.
Or a Mayor de Blasio who has interracial children and who gets a total backlash from his police department itself because he says something about
because that means he's biased too, because he's got all that black family in the background. But the reality is that this bias, I think that we have to start saying it. The study showed it. We all knew it. It's about time that the greater America knows, because they're thinking that there is no bias.
And it's important that we not confuse bias, being biased, or prejudice necessarily, with what is racism. Racism is an institution that is much bigger and much more impactful.
That's right, because we all have our own biases, right? We all even have our own prejudices and our preferences, but it's when it's then acted out in in a manner that keeps you from being able to move forward, which we know is historically a problem that we have in this country. We're going to talk more. We have a lot to talk about coming up. Loretta Lynch's nomination for Attorney General is delayed. Ancient African architecture served as a blueprint for the architects of the nation's capital. We'll break that down. And we've got some of Hollywood's finest giving role and fashion advice in our NAACP Image Awards Week recap. I can't wait to see that. Hit me up with your thoughts on Twitter at News1 or at Mo Ivory or on our News1 Facebook page. It is 7 after the hour. Stay with us and we will be right back. The city of brotherly love has been tapped to host the 2016 Democratic National Convention. The official announcement came yesterday. The Democratic National Convention is scheduled to take place during the week of July 25th, 2016, right there in Philadelphia. Senate Republicans are at it again. They have delayed the confirmation of Loretta Lynch as Attorney General until next month. The Senate Judiciary Committee says it has more questions about her qualifications, but Senate Democrats are calling foul. Let's bring it to the panel. Kim Keenan, Multicultural Media, Telecom, and Internet Counsel. Rock Newman, host of The Rock Newman Show on WHUT, and Drew Elon's political and lifestyle blogger. Okay, so we just were talking about, institutional racism. If this isn't that, I don't know what it is. To say that they still need to ask her several more questions. I mean, she received a list of 81 multi-point questions that required her to send back a 221-page response. Okay,
after the hearing.
After the hearing. This confirmation hearing for Attorney General has been the longest for her that it has been in 3 decades. And this is clearly them playing politics over her nomination. And it's really just, it's insulting and embarrassing.
But it's not just politics, because the fact of the matter is her qualifications are public record. The reality here is it's because of who she is. She's got to prove that she's not Eric Holder. We don't need a proof chart for that. She isn't Eric Holder. And it's as simple as that. But I do want to give a shout out to the Deltas, because they showed up for that hearing and they showed out out. They were in red from color. And I tell
shout
you
out
what,
to all of my sorors
that's
of
right.
Delta Sigma Theta showing up for our
That's right.
soror who is overqualified.
That's right.
For this position. But go
Overqualified.
ahead.
I'm an AKA, and I would have been there in pink to
I know
support her
that's right.
because sisterhood is the same color everywhere, every day.
I know that's
You know,
right.
James Baldwin said, to be Negro in America and to be relatively conscious is to always be in a rage.
Right.
Yeah.
This is an example right here. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's deal with just a microcosm of the hypocrisy of this hearing
That's
ceremony.
right.
One of the people who are causing the delay, the person who's causing the delay, is David Vitter from Louisiana, who's
yes.
running for governor.
Yes.
He who was proven to be involved in the solicitation of prostitution. Now, the prostitute, the particular prostitute who he had the relationship with, passed a lie detector test that said not only was he soliciting prostitution, but he used to come in and he used to like to wear diapers. So this baby is holding up this giant of a woman's confirmation.
That's
right.
The hypocrisy knows no end.
But here's the thing. Here's what I sense, and I think a lot of African Americans would see if they actually watch this and pay close attention. It is more about them saying, stay in your place.
Hello.
That's right.
The whole reference to, are you somehow akin to Eric Holder? All black
right.
people are not alike.
That's right.
Exactly.
Just like all attorneys are not alike. They don't practice everything in the same way.
Exactly
All
right.
judges don't do
And
the
she
same
also has
thing.
a record to show that.
And her record is not only impeccable,
That's right.
but it is a place where you're trying to say, tell not only the Attorney General, nominee, to stay in her place, but you're trying to tell President Barack Obama to stay in his place because it's all about the immigration.
Yes.
And when she said it is legal,
Right.
people forget that we do have a constitutional lawyer as the President of the United States.
Right.
So he is not duped by the things that he
That's
puts
exactly
forward.
right.
He knows
Absolutely.
exactly what's happening.
We also
Wow.
have another comparison in defense confirmation for the new Defense Secretary
Right.
Ash
Exactly.
Carter, who
Exactly.
is like
Sailed through.
sailing through the process, should be confirmed
Right.
by next week.
That's
and,
right.
and you know, we get the comments from the Republicans that it's because, well, he's a Pentagon insider, and she is a law insider.
No.
She's
She is
a
the
legal-
highest federal prosecutor
In all
the best
in the
part of
eastern
New York,
district
right?
of
She's
New
in the
York.
east
And let's
part
point out
of
the
New
obvious.
York.
Let's point out the obvious. He is a man.
Right.
She is a woman.
That's right.
He
black
is
woman.
white.
That's right.
And she
She
is
is-
black.
and I mean-
Does that make a
Right.
difference in this particular case?
Absolutely.
You're damn right it does.
Absolutely. it does.
They're not trying to hold up
Absolutely
his
it does.
confirmation because they want to punish President Obama for his executive actions. They have not asked him any
exactly
questions
right.
about President Obama or anything like that. It's just so
Right.
obvious. And to not call it what it is
Right.
is the constant hypocrisy
And
of
here-
our politics.
She
That's
would not
what
be in this place in this time if she wasn't BAD bad at what she did
That's
all
right.
day long.
That's
it is
right.
a fact.
That is right.
And I mean, here's the other thing. As the Republican Party nationally talks about being an inclusive party and to being this place of this big tent, and that we really are going to reach out to women and we're going to reach out to people of color, every day the Congress who have been elected fail that process. They fail at this, and this right here is an evidence
Is that
they're
that
just telling us.
institutional racism you were talking
to
about?
touch back on
Right.
to touch back on the sexism of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you're going to ask her, are you going to be a David Vitter? Are you going to be an Eric Holder? Might you want to ask this guy here if he was going to be anything like Hillary Clinton? They would never consider.
Never. Oh, well, that's not
Right.
apples to apples.
No, they would not.
Right.
And they will also begin to, when they can't find anything, to tear her record apart in
right.
places that it
That's
was
right.
not even touchable before.
That's right.
Hold up the process. They have done something that they have the power to do, which is to just ask for another week holdover, just for no
Right.
reason at all.
That's right.
She submitted a 221-page answer
Unprecedented.
to 81 questions, and yet it will probably not happen until March, long after Ash Carter is confirmed.
That's right.
And you know, but this is not new for the Republicans.
Oh, no, they have more
Holding up
questions for her. Didn't you say they have more questions for her? That's not enough.
Specific confirmations is what they do, all rooted in getting back at President Obama. That's really
Right.
what it's all about. And so, I mean, you know, I really feel like for Loretta Lynch, it's also, to me, a gender issue. I really feel
It is
also screaming of a gender issue, because when I think about the types of questions they've been asking her about, and you know, she's kind of been a person that answers with such a golden stature, right? And I think in some sense it bothers some of the Republicans that are on the district. Have you noticed that?
They're worried that her attitude might be like that of Eric Holder's, that that she won't be looking down and sort of shuffling as she talks, but she's not that person, and they need to get over it. There are Black women in America who are educated, they are able to present themselves, and they know what they know, and they do what they do. And the problem is they're not familiar with that, and that's why their sexism is showing all over the place.
And I think the part about the question is that they were intended to get under her skin, to portray her as someone who is an angry Black woman, and someone who
failed
can't
at it.
Exactly right. We're not as angry as they thought we were.
Her restraint.
Her
restraint in talking to these morons is super.
It's impeccable. And you know what? It just makes us all super proud. And I hope she's watching and that she knows we are super proud of you, and we know and you will be confirmed. Coming up, we'll reveal the ancient African motifs that are tucked away in our money, our monuments, and other patriotic symbols. African American designers are ready to break through that fashion color barrier. We have a couple of fashionistas here to talk about it. Plus, Black Hollywood showed up and showed out during the NWA Image Awards week. Now hit me up with your thoughts on Twitter at News1 or at Mo Ivory, or on our News1 Facebook page. It's 42 after the hour. Stay with us and we'll be right back. President Obama proves he's a millennial-friendly president in a new BuzzFeed video urging young people to sign up for health insurance at healthcare.gov. Here's a clip.
The deadline for signing up for health insurance is February.
Not like any other Wednesday.
That's not right.
Wednesday.
February 15th. February 15th. In many cases, you can get health insurance for less than $100 a month. Just go to healthcare.gov to figure out how to sign up. February 15th.
I mean, he couldn't be any cooler. Okay, there we go. The dollar bill, the Washington Monument, and the Library of Congress are all dripping with ancient African symbols. Did you know this? That's according to historian Anthony Browder, who has spent 30 years reaffirming the connection between the history and influence of Africa to modern times. He is author of several books, including Egypt on the Potomac, and I want to welcome him here. How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome. And I just want to also say our panelists are still with us. I'm glad they hung around. Kim Keenan, Rock Newman, and Drew Elons. So let's talk about Egypt on the Potomac. I think that that is an amazing concept, and you call yourself a, tell me your title.
Memory recovery specialist.
A memory recovery specialist. How did you come up with that?
Well, when you consider our history and the fact that our history has been erased, our past has been erased, and the erasure has been forgotten. We don't know, and we don't know that we don't know. So my role as a memory recovery specialist is to dig into our history, to uncover those things that we weren't supposed to know, and then reveal them to people with the greatest need to know this information.
That's amazing. Okay, so begin to tell me, because I don't know this information and I do want to know about it. So there are all of these monuments here in the Capitol that have all of the influence of Africa, of Egypt. Tell me about, and let's begin, like, for example, with the Lincoln Memorial.
Well, Lincoln Memorial is a temple that was built in honor of Abraham Lincoln. The statue inside of the Lincoln Memorial was crafted by a sculptor by the name of Daniel Chester French, who had traveled to Egypt before and seen the monument of Ramesses II at Abu Simbel, which has 4 images of the king sitting in his chair. He wanted to replicate that in America. Voila, the Lincoln Memorial. Okay, so at the Lincoln Memorial, is that information there for people to read, to know? No. Well, that kind of seems like a stupid question, right, Mo? Oh, yeah, Mo. Like, yeah, it's right there in a big plaque. I refer to it as a secret hidden in plain sight. Washington, D.C. is the city of secrets. There are secrets in the White House, the Capitol, the FBI, the CIA, NSA, but the greatest secrets in the Capitol, the greatest nation on earth, have literally been hidden in plain sight. What better way to hide a secret than to put it in the open where everybody can see it? And all you need to do is to separate people from their ability to remember what those symbols were. That's my job, to remind people.
That's amazing. Tell us about the Capitol building.
Oh, the Capitol building. Well, the Capitol building sits on Capitol Hill, but right behind the Capitol building is the Library of Congress, the greatest repository of history and knowledge in the world. So the Library of Congress is the American equivalent of the Library of Alexandria, where the repository of the ancient wisdom was made accessible to the governors of that land so that they can control the people and the resources of the land.
Okay, the Washington Monument.
The Washington Monument. The Washington Monument is what the Greeks refer to as an obelisk, but it is actually an ancient Egyptian symbol known as a tekken. That symbol is the oldest symbol of resurrection known to man. It came to symbolize the founding father of ancient Kemet, the original name for the country the Greeks renamed Egypt. So that king, Asar, was murdered and then later resurrected. That symbol represents the resurrection of this African man. It is a 6,000-year-old symbol of resurrection. So why is it here in D.C.? Why that symbol? Well, what you will notice is that you'll see similar obelisks or tekkenu all around the world. Originally, there were 1,200 in ancient Kemet or Egypt. Today, there's only 7. There's more in Rome right now. There's a tekken in front of the Vatican. There's a tekken behind Central Park in New York City. There's a tekken on the banks of the Thames River in London. There's a tekken in the center of the Plaza de la Concorde in Paris. So these are all African symbols that represent symbolically, metaphorically, the resurrection of the founding father of ancient Kemet.
Drew, you told me that your son has been on this tour and you've been on this tour, and so tell me what that experience was like.
So for me, actually our family went, me, my husband, and our son, and we took Howard University's early learning program. It was a fundraiser, but one of the things that was for us and for our son was just he was amazed, and he, you know, I like when you say you're a memory recovery specialist. So for him, everywhere we go, he was identifying tekken and was able to recall ancient Kemet. Like he really, literally, he was engrossed in that. And I think Meridian Park.
Meridian Hill Park.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Meridian Park and when you stand in that space and what you see? I know it's probably kind of hard
and also
to visualize.
About the money, because I also want the money.
Sorry, but the Meridian Park was really phenomenal when you stand in the middle of that.
Sure. Well, Meridian Hill Park sits on the D.C. Meridian, which is 16th Street. And 16th Street is what's considered to be a spiritual corridor of Washington, D.C. We have the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We have behind the White House, the Washington Monument was originally supposed to be positioned, and on the other side of that was the Jefferson Memorial. So these structures are aligned to the Washington Meridian, which symbolizes a spiritual corridor. So on the 7 miles of 16th Street, which extends from St. John's Church in front of the White House to its termination point at Eastern Avenue, you have over 55 churches, religious institutions. It is a spiritual corridor.
A spiritual corridor.
A spiritual corridor. One of the names for 16th Street was the Avenue of the Churches, or God's Boulevard, because of that significance.
Because of that. Now tell us about the symbol, the money symbol.
Symbols on the dollar bill. All right, today is Friday the 13th. It's a day which some people consider to be unlucky. Psychologists have coined the phrase triskaidekaphobia, which is the unfounded fear of the number 13. Well, if 13 is an unlucky number, then why is the number 13 repeated 13 times on the dollar bill? On the reverse of the Great Seal, you have a pyramid with 13 courses of stone. On the front of the Great Seal, you have an eagle holding an olive branch with 13 leaves and 13 olives. In the other claw, he holds 13 arrows. On his chest is a shield with 13 stripes. In his mouth is a banner with the words E pluribus unum, comprised of 13 letters. And above his head is a cluster of 13 stars. So 13 is not an unlucky number. It relates back to the founding father of ancient Kemet, Asar, whose body was cut into 14 pieces, but his wife only found 13. So 13 symbolizes the remembering of the body of Asar, which is why you have 13 courses of stone on the pyramid, which symbolizes the body of the United States, 13 colonies coming together, and the 14th part is encased in a square with an eye on top of the pyramid.
Okay, blow my mind. With all of this, with all of this information, and
Can I give an unsolicited shout out real quick for Kathy Hughes and Alfred Ligon and Roland Martin for having this particular show, because you don't get this knowledge is not dropped elsewhere.
And please tell everybody where they can find you, how they can take the tour, and all the information they need to get in touch.
They can go to our website, which is www.ikg-info.com. Simple and easy, we're there.
Okay, and is there a phone number, or just go to the website?
They can go to the website and get all the contact info.
That's just amazing, and especially during Black History Month. I mean, this is, if you ever want to like go ahead and learn this information, this would be the perfect time. But any time during the year is great. It's Egypt on the Potomac, and Anthony Browder is the author. He's the expert. Tell me the title again.
Memory Recovery
Specialist.
Yes.
Memory Recovery Specialist. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
I mean, this is just information that, you know, nobody's going to tell us when you buy the ticket for the Washington Monument tour. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Coming up, fashionistas Jody Davis and Claire Sumlers break down how the fashion industry isn't as diverse as you might think. And Taraji P. Henson gives Roland a stern warning in our NAACP Image Awards Week recap. Plus, Beyonce's Crazy in Love is featured in the hottest movie of the weekend, 50 Shades of Grey, and we have a sneak peek for you later. Hit me up with your thoughts on Twitter at Mo Ivory or at News One or on the News One Facebook page. It is 43 after the hour. We have so much to come back with. We'll be right back. This year's NAACP Image Awards Week brought out the best and the brightest of Black Hollywood. Between the awards ceremony, the fashion choices, and onslaught of jokes, it was a great time. Here are some of Roland's highlights.
African American Film Critics Association actually started in 2003. AFCA Awards started in 2009. And basically it's just an expansion of the brand. It's a way to, you know, create better awareness, to educate folks more about quality films, particularly those films that star people of African descent.
It's just a beautiful room. It's a beautiful room of people. Oprah's in there, Ava DuVernay. It's a great event to come to.
Everybody's story and everybody's journey is just as important as everybody else's.
I was just at the Oscar nominee luncheon on Monday, and there were exactly 5 Black folks in the entire room. So to go from that to this, where it is filled with people that are so talented, that deserve to be in that room. So it's just a beautiful thing to be among your peers and get to celebrate each other in this way.
This is a great, great night. Like, this is a night where we celebrate the movies we love, the movies we cherish, and the movies we respect.
It's good to have our peers give their opinion. You know, the number 7 film in there was Unbroken, and that's Angelina Jolie's film. So it's not that we're saying that it's got to be a Black film for us to recognize. We're just saying that we have our taste and our flavor, and that's what we think is good.
We understand, you know, we are a minority group of people in the business, so I like to see us get together and, you know, celebrate and honor our own.
Look at me, we are 3. Mary Jane, come and hang out at the NAACP.
We're gonna have a good time. That's what, having a good time and just celebrating everybody and meeting folks. That's the best part.
It's really just about seeing other filmmakers. There's Gina Prince Bythewood, my gosh, and Reggie Rock Bythewood. Like, you know, when you come here, you get to see us and celebrate us, and that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you for this award.
It's quite wonderful to be a part of something so historical. It's been a part of our culture for a long time. So this especially is quite beautiful.
It means a lot to be included with a number of very illustrious and sort of talented people who've achieved a lot in their career. So it's an honor to be considered one of their number.
Well, I'm excited that I'm nominated. You know, it never gets old.
Being nominated is sort of enough in itself in a way. It is the congratulation. The winning of it is kind of helter-skelter, so it's okay. It's sort of all part of the game.
I'm excited because I get to see my baby! Oh my God, hello! NAACP Award nominee, how you doing? Hello, NAACP Award nominee.
For us to have an Image Award where we create and project and celebrate images of who we are as people of color, as people who have built this country from a very, very dark and deep place, I think it's important that we see ourselves reflected in good ways.
Welcome to the 2015 NAACP Image Awards, or as I like to call it, 50 Shades of Black.
Do you know what tonight is?
What's tonight?
Anthony Anderson night.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
They call it AA night.
Do they call it?
The NAACP Anthony Anderson.
There's other things out there other than the Emmys and the Oscars where you don't really see us a lot. I mean, sometimes if you were to watch those shows, you would think we don't exist. So the beautiful thing about the NAACP and the Image Awards It's about us.
We could validate our own stuff. We don't need other people to validate our stuff. Let's validate what we do.
It's not being separatist, but it's more of a celebration and congratulating, uplifting, and a night of empowerment.
The fact that we're here, we're supporting each other, we're uplifting each other, we're inspiring one another, and we're here clapping for each other is important for not only us to see, it's important for the world to see.
There's so many people here that I grew up watching and that I love and respect. I just saw Lawrence Fishburne. I'm just like, I'm not on the same carpet or even breathing the same air as Lawrence Fishburne.
I'm always nervous on award night, even though Scandal has done very well at this award show in past years.
It's great to see what everybody's wearing, how everybody expresses themselves.
Angela Dean made this for me. And look at bam! It's eel skin. I don't know how many eels Angela killed, but you know.
I think Roland would have a problem with me not wearing an ascot. He hates ties, I think. He don't like bow ties or ties or whatever. I don't know what it is, but tell him I'm sorry. Roland, I'm so sorry for not wearing an ascot, all right? I got one too, and I just didn't wear it.
Roland, I know you're from Dallas, but this is Detroit. So come on home to Detroit and do it like we do it in the real D.
It's so amazing because nobody rocks a 4-button suit like Roland. 4-button suit. I guess it's 4 buttons to cover the belly that he has, but I didn't think they still manufactured 4-button suits. And he wears an ascot because he has no neck. You know, it's just to give the illusion that there is a neck there. He's really head and shoulders. That's what he is. You know, when he swallows, it goes directly into his chest because it doesn't go through anything like this. He can't wear a collared shirt because there's nothing to collar around. So that's why he wears the ascot. Still don't know about the 4 buttons though, Roland.
He's been stalking me. Can't get him away. It's my baby.
Hello. Hi, News One, Roland, TV One, my TV One family.
That's the boo. Roland.
Okay,
no.
That's how you doing it?
Wait, we're not gonna harmonize?
Roland.
Roland.
This is Jesse T. Usher and the beautiful Erica Ash from Remorse. We wanted to send out a special thank you to you for supporting us and what we do. Because, I mean, we out here thugging and it ain't always easy to keep it going like this, but people like you give us energy and life. And,
turn up.
Second season gonna be real just for you, man. Appreciate it.
Real. Roland, let me tell you something. Now, you be talking a lot of trash on Twitter. Keep my name out your mouth. The name is Cookie Ask About Me. Drop the mic. No, I love you, Roland, and thank you so much for the support. I see your tweets. You are hilarious. I think you want to be a comedian, maybe in your former life. I don't know. If you need a manager, call me.
You know, he had such a good time at the NAACP Image Awards. I'm Mo Ivory, and this is News One Now. It's birthday shout-out time. Today, TV host and author Farnsworth Bentley turns 41. Tomorrow, actress Danny Gurira, who stars in the show The Walking Dead, turns 37. R&B singer Dwele turns 37. And musician Dwayne Wiggins of Tony turns what? 52. On this day in history, I didn't know that. On this day in history, in 1920, the Negro National League, the first successful black and Latino baseball league, was formed. In 1923, the New York Renaissance, the first black professional basketball team, was formed. And in 1970, Joseph Searles became the first African-American floor member and broker of the New York Stock Exchange. Beyonce puts a sexy, surprising, probably not that surprising because she is pretty sexy, new twist on her decade-old song, Crazy in Love, for the new movie 50 Shades of Grey. Hip Hollywood Jasmine Simpkins has the scoop on how Beyonce's sensual songs help heat up this steamy film.
Just in time for the release of the highly anticipated film 50 Shades of Grey, the sultry soundtrack has been released featuring Beyonce's remake of Crazy in Love.
You said you didn't do romance.
I don't. What are you doing to me?
We sat down with director Sam Taylor Johnson, who reveals why the Queen Bee and her chart-topping single was perfect for the film.
They try lots of different music, but that piece of music
when it was put, so it was just so pitch perfect. And when we saw it, we were like, we have to have this in the movie, not just for the trailer. And we were like, you know, please, let's hope that she agrees to let us use that.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, she's just the perfect embodiment of a strong woman, a sort of sexually in control woman. And, you know, all those sentiments fit well with the movie.
Beyonce also remixed her 2013 track Haunted for the film, while Sia, The Weeknd, and Ellie Goulding recorded original tracks to help set the stage for Anastasia and Christian's whirlwind romance.
I'm haunting you, you must be haunting me.
So what did Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan feel about their roles in the steamy film?
I think it's mostly about the love story. I think that is the thing that kept people reading the books and kept bringing them back to read the second one and read the third one.
It's about two people who sort of, on paper, shouldn't really be together, but they do fall in love, and they have to make compromises, big compromises, to sort of be together. But I definitely think that's at the center of the story, and it's not all just about sex.
50 Shades of Grey hits theaters February 13th. For HipHollywood.com and TV One, I'm Jasmine Simpkins.
So if you're still looking for something to do on Valentine's Day, check out 50 Shades of Grey, which is in theaters now. On Monday, check out the News One Now Selma movie special. Be sure to go to newsonenow.com for more stories and updates. And you can catch me every day from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on WHUR 96.3 FM on The Frank Ski Show. Please follow me on Twitter at Mo Ivory. Also, you can friend the show on the News One Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the NAACP Image Awards tonight, and have a great weekend, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.